Okay, well, today's day two, and we are heading sort of down the digestive tract. But before that, quickly, for those of you that are new today, my name is Steve Murray. I'm the co-founder at Health Architects. I'm a exercise physiologist and health coach. And as yesterday, delighted to have with us today our functional medicine practitioner and physiotherapist, Jenny Hague. So welcome again, Jenny.
Thank you. It's awesome to be here. Yeah, second day of our gut health challenge. So very exciting.
All right, so let's jump in. We're heading down. Yesterday we spoke, a little about oral health and the importance of oral health in the general sort of gut health conversation. But I think it's important maybe to just contextualize. I know that on our program, on our 16-week program, one of the absolute fundamentals for you is this whole gut health issue.
Absolutely, everything starts there.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you said yesterday, I think it's important to say it again. Gut health starts where it starts, which is at the top. It's in your mouth. That's where it starts. It's to the core. So if that's a mess, then whatever's going to get down below is going to be a mess. So,
absolutely.
So we see this a lot. We talk to people, we talk to patients, and yes, we're working on our guts, and everyone's taking probiotics, and there's all these kind of things going on. But I suppose for me, the question would be, so how do you know? So as a functional medicine practitioner, what are you looking for? What are the signs and symptoms of an unhealthy gut?
Well, I mean, just to go back, I mean, something I look at with all of my patients is gut issues, as we've mentioned. Are they battling with, reflux, bloating, nausea, constipation, diarrhea, any of those kind of things? And those are all signs that you have a gut issue. And then obviously, the first place we need to start, as we've already done yesterday, is the mouth. So now we get to go into the stomach, and I think it has been a really largely forgotten area in terms of how vital it really is for general health. So it's been super neglected, unfortunately, in terms of conventional medicine and general understanding. I think people don't understand the value of the stomach in our whole gut health and our health as a whole in general.
And I mean,
so yes, I mean, as you said, I mean, people are working on their gut. They're doing all kinds of things, taking probiotics and trying to work on the lower part, sort out the constipation or the diarrhea or whatever's going on there. But they are not focusing on what's happening up at the top end. They have no idea what's going on there. And that's often a big reason that the rest of it is not improving. You've got to start from the top and fix that. And then everything else starts to fall into place. It's your foundation. If the foundations are not right, the rest of the structure cannot be right. So that's really why we've got to start here, and it's just super important.
Absolutely. So I mean, so what are you looking for? So the obvious ones you've mentioned, the diarrhea, the bloating, etc. But are there other things that we should be looking for?
I mean, things like absolutely. I mean, even the rosy cheeks and nose. You should have a consistent color throughout your face. It should be, you shouldn't have these bright red cheeks or nose. And that's something I wasn't aware of. That's something that I actually battled with or had since I was a child. So I probably have chronically low stomach acid. Okay. Because I just wasn't aware of it. And I think most people don't put all of those things together. We don't know how to connect the dots. So yes, so if you're sitting with rosacea, like rosy cheeks or a nose, that's definitely a sign of gut health. or issues with your gut health. Things like chronic sinusitis is also, all of those mucous membranes are, they all connect. So sinus issues are also an issue that tells you that you've got problems with your gut. And then, as we've mentioned, the reflux, the upset stomach, gas, bloating, diarrhea, constipation, heartburn, etc.
Some of those issues are, I certainly wouldn't have connected the sinus issue, which is certainly something I've also battled with gut health. And you mentioned something really important just now, which is really the disconnect between what functional medicine is doing and and I'm hesitant to use the word conventional, but let's rather say allopathic medicine. Medicine, which is kind of the kind of medicine that's practiced today. And this disconnect happens in many places, but I think it is absolutely massive in the gut health area. It seems to be not just a disconnect, but a fundamental. This is a different. You look at things completely differently. So maybe we can touch on that. So what does functional medicine and allopathic medicine do differently in this space? How do we compare?
Well, I mean, conventional medicine has really kind of lost the plot when it comes to stomach health, as we've said, I mean, and that is where functional medicine has got it right. So I mean, in conventional medicine or allopathic medicine, as we're saying, I mean, more than half the population is on PPIs, okay, which are basically antacids. They lower your stomach acid. And yeah, that's a huge problem. And also other medications, various different medications that are disruptive to the stomach. And we don't realize it. People don't understand what the impact of all of those medications is. So I mean, typically people were getting those symptoms because their stomach health wasn't great. So they may be getting a bit of reflux or sinus, or those classic pink rosacea cheeks. Excuse me. But they don't connect the dots that these are classic signs of poor stomach health, So that's exactly it. We need more acid, not less. One of the reasons that we're doing all of these things to heal the stomach lining is that it produces more acid. So if you have reflux, you have stomach issues, and you're not producing enough acidity. Okay, it's not that you've got too much. You're probably not eating the right foods. So you're eating foods that are irritating the stomach and the intestine, and that's creating a reaction. So if you are battling with diarrhea, constipation, pain, bloating, whatever it is, we've got to focus on the two areas that are the foundation first, your oral health and your stomach health. So lowering your stomach acid will obviously get rid of these symptoms, but that's typically what, that's all we're doing is treating symptoms. We're getting rid of symptoms, and we're not rebalancing the stomach and healing the system. So the esophageal sphincter, which is the entrance to the stomach from the esophagus, that closes when the pH is at the right level. So when the stomach acidity is at the right level, it will close, and that level is typically about 2. So that's pretty acidic, okay? It doesn't close when it's neutral or just before neutral, say at about a pH of 5, okay? Because it doesn't have that physiological reflex at that pH. So it will come up into your throat, and it will feel acidic. You will feel that burning because it's still 5. It's not 7, which is neutral.
Yeah.
And then we think we have to neutralize it.
Absolutely.
But actually, it needs to be more acidic so that it closes off that sphincter.
So we're not even talking about maybe a slight difference of opinion here. We're talking about, an industry that says, okay, you've got reflux, you've got too much stomach acid, neutralized with a medication. I mean, I suffered with that, as you know, for many, many years. And I mean, the solution given to me was, oh, you've got a hiatus hernia. We can operate on that and, address the reflux, which is a 180 degrees different to what the solution really was, which was really to sort out my stomach health and
Absolutely.
eggs. And that was the end of reflux. It was simply about finding the food that was irritating me and addressing my stomach health. So absolutely. And I want to talk a little bit more about this medication thing, because this is also a topical question, and not just medications, but also obviously the toxic load. And we address this in many ways in our programs as well. But so talk to me about the medication impact and maybe what's happening from an environmental toxicity point of view, and how that potentially is another causal factor here.
So, I mean, obviously, the damage can start at a really young age. Often kids are on multiple antibiotics as they're growing up. You're getting chronic ear infections, sinus infections, tonsillitis, etc., etc. So that will damage your stomach health and your gut health. But it also gets damaged by herbicides and pesticides that are coming in from our food.
Yeah.
So, watching those kind of things. And then caffeine and coffee, it creates a lot of acidity, and that can also start to damage our stomach lining.
Yeah.
Things like really hot, spicy food, lots of chilies and peppers. That can, continuously over time, that will damage your stomach receptors as well. So all of those things can create an issue with your stomach.
So we've got assault from all sides here. We've got we're fundamentally addressing the wrong problem, with stomach acid. Now we've got these external factors. But I'll tell you what I do want to maybe get into a little bit and to get your thoughts on is this nitric oxide debate. It's something that's topical. We're seeing it. It's like ADD. It suddenly becomes like a buzzword, and everyone's talking about not really understanding what it is and what it does. So maybe you can tell us what is this thing and why is it so important?
Absolutely. Before we get into the nitric oxide, I'd like to just elaborate a little bit around stomach acid, because stomach acid is so crucial in creating nitric oxide in our bodies as well. And what we've found is that it's been shown that by the age of 40, you've lost about 40% of your stomach health in terms of production of good optimal stomach acidity. So that's about 1% per year that you're losing. Okay. So by the age of about 60 or 80, you've really lost the majority of your stomach acid. And again, conventional medicine hasn't really addressed this properly. So that becomes an issue. And the stomach is there, obviously, to break down your food, to digest it so that you're able to start absorbing what you've eaten. Yeah. And also to neutralize pathogens. So breaking down that food means that you'll get more absorption of proteins. And proteins are obviously one of the most fundamental building blocks for all of the physiological processes that we have in our body. Building muscle, enzymes, so many different processes. So really crucial that we are absorbing that protein. And then your stomach is also part of your immune system health. It helps to break down bacteria and viral load. And it's really the next step in guarding and balancing our immune system after our mouth. So super important there. And then nitric oxide, absolutely. It is vital for health. So it helps with our immune system. It decreases blood pressure by dilating our blood vessels. It's there for the health of our blood vessels, and it helps reduce oxidative stress. So for people who are battling with fatigue, feeling sluggish, it is often because the oxidative balance is out. So your good bacteria in the mouth generate nitrite as a byproduct of consuming nitrate-rich foods. For example, things like your leafy greens, spinach and kale, and then also beetroot. So this results in a buildup of nitrite in the saliva. So once you swallow that, these nitrites mix with stomach acid to produce nitric oxide. But again, you need optimal stomach acid to make that nitric oxide. And that nitric oxide is then absorbed into the blood to be used by the body. And if we do not have healthy blood vessels, we won't get good nutrition to our cells, to our brain, our organs, our muscles, all over our body. So that nitric oxide is super essential in just keeping our blood vessels healthy and optimizing so many things in our body again.
So it's like this, well, like everything in functional medicine. So it's all connected. So if you're not eating the leafy greens at the top, number one. So that's kind of step number one. If your mouth is not healthy,
the right microbiome
producing the precursor to nitric oxide, which needs to then get down into the stomach. And if you don't have enough stomach acid down there, it's not going to turn that into nitric oxide anyway. So there's some really big potential gaps here in our modern way of dealing with this. I was just thinking to myself, so if you at 30, at 35, you've lost 35% of your stomach acid already. So the likelihood of adults having too much stomach acid must be negligible. I mean, like negligible, and yet it's one of the biggest. We see that in practice every Wednesday. We see the reps coming in with all sorts of nice brochures about the next PPI, and fundamentally, we're making a mess.
Yeah.
Well, maybe okay. So I think maybe enough of that. So in summary, then I think we're talking about making sure we understand that stomach acid is probably too little and not too much. That's really important. The health of our mouth. We have an unhealthy mouth, we can forget about it. And then, fundamentally getting down into the stomach and making sure that all works correctly. And avoiding medications where possible, and understanding the impact of this toxic load, personal care products or home care products that are just ultimately assaulting us all day, and making sure we mitigate that. So let's get it. There's enough bad news. Let's get into some solutions. I know this is something close to your heart. So let's like we did yesterday. It's important that we are able to provide simple solutions that people can do immediately and see change immediately.
Absolutely.
Tell us about your daily drink.
Okay, so what we found.
They love this. They tell us about it every Thursday night. Ginger.
What we found is that introducing this one habit on a daily basis really has made an amazing difference for people in terms of stomach health and all of the associated symptoms that go with it. So this is a drink that can help with stomach health. Okay. It is 1 tot of apple cider vinegar, 1 tot of organic lemon juice, ideally if you can get, and 1 tot of organic ginger juice, if you can get as well, okay, in a glass of filtered water, a large glass. And drinking this mixture a few times a day can be super soothing and healing for the stomach lining. So really, really good for your stomach. If you don't have all of those components, then start with 1 or 2. Start with what you have. Add in the apple cider vinegar, whatever you have. And do it before meals as well. It'll just improve your stomach health and help you digest better. You can also do it either warm or cold. So depending on the weather and where you live and so on, you can use honey to sweeten it if you want, make it a little bit more palatable. You will find that it's a little bit bitter. So yeah. What we generally do to sweeten it is to add half a scoop of a product called Zymo Bulks. So it's a powder. It's been really nicely flavored, and it contains all of your essential amino acids. So that gives you just another boost. So super good. What I do with the ginger juice, because it's difficult to find ginger juice, pure ginger juice here in South Africa, I actually go and buy some fresh ginger, just clean it all up nicely. I leave the skin on, but I just wash it thoroughly, and then put it into a blender with just enough water to cover it. And then I'll strain the paste out. You can freeze that as ginger paste. And then I put the juice into the fridge, and I use that as the ginger juice. So that gives me that combination of lemon, ginger, and apple cider vinegar. And yeah, super powerful.
That paste is really cool as well. It comes ice, like an ice block, and they put that into.
Yeah, you just freeze it up in ice cubes, and you can use it in your cooking or whatever you want to use it for.
So Zymo Bulks is in our product bundle. So those of you that want to go and have a look at it, it's in the Gut Health product bundle that Jenny put together specifically for this module. And there's one more product you want to talk about. I know that this is another one that's on this kind of standard, starter pack bundle that we see in our program that you prescribe for patients. So tell us about Epigastro.
Yeah, Epigastro is by a company called Practitioner. It's a digestive enzyme herbal blend, and it is so helpful for not only digesting and breaking down proteins, fats, and carbohydrates, but it also really helps, unlike some other digestive enzyme supports, with healing of the stomach, healing the stomach lining, improving the viral and bacterial load. And it really has multiple different roles in improving the stomach health. So super potent product, really. That and the Zymo Bulks, it just gives you that extra boost. It allows you to absorb those amino acids immediately, and just make sure that you're getting everything you need to start repairing your stomach.
Okay, so into solutions, the daily drink, I know that well, and it's certainly something everyone can do. Everyone can do it. It's doable for everyone. And then we've got some products that are important. So I think we can start getting into wrapping up for today. So maybe what is your final thoughts on this thing, Jenny?
So I just want to say, go and check yourself. Okay, check yourself, check your family, share it with your friends if you want, but make sure that you're giving them all of this info on oral health. Okay, and now you've got all the tools, you can start to look at how you can start to improve your stomach health as well, because that is the gateway to success for what is going to happen with the next steps, which we're going to be talking about tomorrow and over the next few days. So yeah, that's really.
Let's give people a challenge, super simple challenge today.
Absolutely.
Make up your apple cider vinegar ginger lemon juice. Post a picture of it, of you enjoying it. Put it into the group. Get into the habit of doing that. I often put it into a flask, take that to work, and it's I actually add a few other things as well, but it's something that you really can sip on throughout the day. So kudos for that. And then obviously, the Epigastro is a 60-day program, right, Jenny? So you really want to see people kind of commit to a 60-day kind of a role with Epigastro.
Absolutely. With the epigastro, I would, I mean, it's 2 capsules between 5 and 30 minutes before a meal. So take that before every meal and for 60 days, and you will see a huge difference in your stomach health at the end of 60 days. It really is a very good product.
Awesome. All right. So I know that we've said, before I say goodbye, so tell me, lots of information here today, Jean. So
absolutely. The one thing I do just want to add before we say goodbye is just, with that drink, it's probably a good idea just to rinse your mouth out a little bit with water afterwards, just to neutralize the pH in your mouth, so that the acid doesn't damage the enamel of your teeth at all. So that is one thing just to be aware of. And probably don't brush your teeth after you've drunk that, or just rinse with water before you do. So yes, and then I just want to say, like, super cool to be with you all. Try not to be overwhelmed with all the information. Take what you can, take what works for you, and make it into actionable steps that you can then use and start to change small habits to move forward. Absolutely.
Awesome. Thank you, Jean. Now, tomorrow we into the morning test down, so we're continuing the way down. But until then, take care and have a great day, and we will check in with you all tomorrow at 8:15. Bye now.
Absolutely. Bye.